Hello, Mr. Dang. Welcome to VW Marketing World's Festival of Marketing. It's wonderful to have you with us. So I have a few set of questions for you. So last year there were significant headlines and conversations around generative AI. However, we have not seen any big Gen AI campaigns really in the past 1 year. Is the tech falling short, or are creative professionals still coming to terms with how best to deploy the technology?
So somewhere I think there's a running joke that if it is works, it is engineering. If it is still work in progress, we call it Gen AI. In fact, UltraTech has multiple campaigns where at the back end, Gen AI has played a huge role in terms of putting the personalization, putting the languages out there, and multiple campaigns which are based purely on Gen AI. We did something around the World Cup, the festive, this thing, which were purely based out of Gen AI. So I think, like I said, it's right now a hot topic, but there is a lot of work that goes on behind which maybe you don't label it and therefore it works just because it's a piece of work. And I think it's our policy oftentimes of not tom-tomming the process so much, but the output. And if there is a great consumer connect, I think that's a bigger reward than the tools that were used to generate that. Yeah.
Yes, so, sir, with the phasing out of third-party cookies, how are you preparing to maintain effective targeting and personalization?
So I think this has gone back and forth quite a bit. I think Google has again deferred the entire process kind of stuff. A lot of times as in anticipation of this entire piece, we've generated a large portion of our first party data. And that works, I think, tremendously for us. And therefore, I think the reliance on some of that is slightly gone down. Second, I think strangely, unlike most other companies who use digital from a targeting point of view, I think we use the content from a targeting point of view rather than cookies from a targeting point of view. It's an interesting play, but it's worked wonders for us. In fact, Baat Ghar Ki as a campaign that we use, which assists first-time home builders in terms of navigating the journey, which is a very complicated and tough one. That in the last, I think, 3-4 years has touched about 500 million views across the country, and views of that are not what you would have on Meta and Google, which are 3-second, 5-second views. Those are solid content which is good for consumers to use, and therefore the average length would be over a minute and a half, which consumers have seen because it is of utility to them, and therefore it targets really well. So I think we've taken slightly different approach in terms of how to use the tool far more effectively from a targeting point of view. The content strategy itself uses from a targeting point of view rather than force content down somebody's throat who doesn't want to see the stuff.
Understood. So, sir, what are some of the big consumer and marketing trends influencing your marketing decisions in the year ahead?
I think home building has seen a huge revival and I was just sharing with somebody, for the last 10 odd years, FMCG, for example, volume growth has lagged the GDP growth. But UltraTech has grown in last 6-7 years at a CAGR which is nearly 2.5, 3x that of GDP. And our markets, as you know, is 70% B2C. In fact, we are more rural than most FMCG companies are. And therefore, this confluence of, I think we are tapping the right emotions and we are tapping the right need, which is helping us grow not only ahead of the GDP, but also far ahead of the category in which we play. Yeah.
That will be all, sir. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.